and welcome back to Between the Pages Book Chat. We've been off for 2 weeks, so bear with me if I'm a little rusty at this. But we're here with our guest today, and our guest is Cami Murdock Jensen, and we're here to talk about her book First Earth, which is the first book in the Arch Mage series. And now I'm going to turn it over to her and let her introduce herself. So take it away.
Hi, readers. My name is Cami Murdock Jensen. The Arch Mage series is about the only wizard to be born on our planet since magic was banned thousands of years ago. I originally started writing this series for my daughter, who is having some health troubles, and I just needed a reason for her to get out of bed, and it's been a wonderful adventure for us. And very close to the end. I'm just finishing up the last book in the 5-book series.
Oh, that's great. So tell us a little bit about the first book. How did the adventure start?
The adventure started with, like I mentioned, with my daughter. She started having some migraine headaches and then some bizarre symptoms. She'd just be walking down the hallway and suddenly her legs would give out underneath her and she'd just crumple to the ground and her skin would go pale and her heart would race and she would go clammy. And we took her to doctor after doctor after doctor. And of course, she started to get a little depressed because when you're a teenager, it's hard to see the end of things like this. It's kind of all encompassing. So I knew that she was a huge fan of fantasy books. So I decided to start writing a book that was especially tailored to her, one with a protagonist who was, like her, a teenage girl with some health problems. But she managed to overcome those problems and save the entire world and another world besides hers just from being clever and consistent and not giving up and trying really hard to find her strengths as a human being, as a person. And the more we got into the story, my daughter got more involved and I started inviting her to go for walks with me to talk about what to do next. And that actually was the best thing that could have happened for my daughter because the exercise actually helped improve her condition. And she's been involved ever since. Happy ending. She's now grown up and married and has a little baby girl herself. So everything turned out great.
Well, that's good. And she's sort of the unofficial co-writer of the series then.
She's my biggest fan, my biggest help for sure.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the main character. What's she like?
So Agnes Ann Kavanaugh, she was in an explosion when she was a baby. I didn't know what my daughter's problems were, so I kind of had to invent something for my main character. So she has some burn scars on the right side of her face and her neck, but she also has neuropathy in her legs, which will rear up anytime that she gets stressed or scared. And so she's rather weak and thinks that she just can't do much of anything. But as a burn victim, she gets introduced to a mentor, and he has her read dead languages because for some reason, some strange, bizarre, mysterious, magical reason, she can read dead languages. She doesn't necessarily understand the words, but she can read them. And since her mentor is blind, he needs someone to read to him. And that's where she gets exposed to an ancient tablet from the Nasser Jamdat culture. And it opens and awakens the magic that she has carried inside her. And she becomes the first wizard born on our planet since magic was banned thousands of years ago. But since she's the only person on our planet with magic, there's no one to teach her how to use it or what it is or anything like that. So she becomes a target for an evil necromancer who wants to drain her of her magic. Luckily, she gets saved and taken to another planet, which is called First Earth.
Okay, from the blurb, it sounded like it's a bit like a portal fantasy. Is that correct?
Yes, very much a portal fantasy. It's the whole culture of the worlds, excuse me, outside of our Earth are a blend of science and magic because science and magic grew alongside each other as cultures advanced.
That sounds cool. So what kind of science, like is the magic integrated into the science? Like so you'd have like magical fuel technology and things like that?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Well, one of the fun concepts that I came up with that I really enjoy, that I wish could happen on our planet, is that one of the most common magical talents in First Earth is an illusionist. So, an illusionist can take light and turn it solid and change it into anything they want. So, they use this power to grab light and make it solid, and that fuels all of their machines and their cars is solid light.
So technically you could have like a light shield?
Oh yeah, she uses light shields all the time.
Oh, that is cool. I like that. Okay, so tell us a little bit about the world of First Earth, is it?
Yeah, First Earth. So it's a unified planet. It has a high king, which is the ruler among all of the other national kings. It's very similar to our Earth um, in its makeup and its pattern. Um, like I said, they are very advanced when it comes to science and magic and technology. But they do have a little problem, and that is that all of their wizards are being drained of their magic. So they're getting a little bit desperate because, like I mentioned, their culture is very dependent on magic. And there's only a few wizards left in the royal family. And they have been following the advance of Second Earth, which is our planet, for quite a while now because there's a prophecy that tells them that someone from our planet will save their planet when the time is right. And so, just as poor little Agnes gets filled up with all this magic that she didn't know she had, that made the whole universe aware that she was there. And so, not only did the bad guy come after her, the good guys came too, hoping that she will help them with their problem.
Okay, so that sounds like a lot to deal with for a teenager.
Well, of course, it's fantasy. What do you expect?
Yeah. It's like, so how does she deal with it? Is she like, does she embrace it or does she say, no, I want nothing to do with any of this, take me home?
Yeah, that's part of the beauty of it is she responds as any teenager would, which is, I, I don't know what you want from me. I can't do this. I don't know anything about this. But she actually ends up getting stuck there and she can't get home unless she recovers the key that the bad guy stole. And so she needs to go with her mentor, one of the few remaining wizards, to find the key. And as they travel together and she sees the planet and she learns about the people that are hoping she'll save them, she learns a lot about herself. So the personal growth in this book really paralleled the growth that I saw in my daughter, where she had to learn how to just, even though things are incredibly difficult, don't give up and you don't have to take it all on at once. If you just do this one little thing, then it will lead to the next one little thing. And then after the adventure, she realizes how much she's grown. And once she does get home, the only thing she wants is to go back and help.
Oh, that's very cool. I like that. So, what was the hardest scene that you had to write in the book?
I I have two trouble spots personally as an author. The first one is where to start. I like to give a lot of background, and that's super boring. So I always have to write my first chapter 3 or 4 times to get it to start in the right place. And then the other one is the giant climax where there's so much happening. There's action and wars and magic flying and demons flooding through the portal and so much excitement and adventure going on. I take it as a personal challenge to make sure that everything is as clear as possible while still being as exciting as possible.
Interesting. See, I have the opposite problem. I'm no problem starting, no problem ending. It's the middle part that gets me.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's the easy part for me.
It's like, yeah, connecting the two pieces. Yeah, that's the hard stuff. Anyway, so what was your favorite scene to write in the book?
My favorite scenes. I really loved those moments of self-realization when Agnes just completed some part of her adventure and realized, excuse me, it's really dry out here in Utah, and realized what she had just learned, where bit by bit she kind of discarded the victim and became the hero. Those are my favorite parts. Of course, I
Oh,
also really, really loved inventing incredible magical creatures, and I loved inventing a new magic system. I've got a little bit of a science nerd in me, so incorporating the science too. The whole thing was just great. I just really loved it.
yeah, those fantasy creatures and moments like that are always fun.
Yeah,
Okay, so tell us a little bit about some of the secondary characters. Are they a little quirky? Do they like to blend into the background? Or they like to steal the scenes?
definitely they steal the scenes. One of my most popular characters is Grimmel. Now, Grimmel is not from first or second Earth. He's a creature from the fifth planet in the system, and he's a Skifton. Now, Skiftons are felines, but they're shapeshifters too. And so they can turn into any kind of feline. They can be tigers or little baby white kittens, or they can even be mythological creatures like winged lions from the Greek myths. They can also turn into hellcats that are demon cats that are on fire and they can walk on the air. But no matter what form they take, it's always a cat. He's very sarcastic and a little bit of a thug, but deep down and underneath, he's extremely loyal. He was one of my favorites. And then,
So,
of course, Agnes has a love interest, and I loved him too. He was just a total man of action who couldn't understand her her hesitancy because he's just a jump in with all feet kind of guy. And so watching his growth and understanding Agnes and where she's coming from, that was also very satisfying.
cool. So, what are your characters afraid of?
Which ones? Because they all have different things.
Whichever ones you want to talk about.
Okay, so Agnes's big fear is that she'll let people down because she's got no confidence in herself because she's just been a victim her whole life. And so to take on something big and failing is her greatest fear. Her love interest, his greatest fear is that he won't be enough for whoever he's with, whether it's Agnes or his planet. He's got so much writing on him because he's one of the few wizards remaining on the planet. And so he tends to try to come across as anything but who he is. So he'll disguise himself and he'll um, try to boss people around a little bit. But, he's a lot like his best friend Grimmel. He's really just tender at heart and wants to be the hero in everything. And then, of course, you've got a lot of the secondary characters are mostly afraid that their way of life is going to be completely destroyed because the wizards are disappearing and they're about to be invaded by demons. So, yeah, a lot of demon fear going on.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the antagonist. I'm assuming it's the necromancer that you talked about.
Yes, the necromancer that I talked about. So, she is a little bit of a puzzle in that she doesn't follow the rules, which is why the people of First Earth are having such a hard time dealing with her. She can do things that no other wizard has done before. Um, she can cheat when it comes from traveling to one planet to another planet. She's able to absorb magic from other people, which has never been done before. Kind of reminded me a little bit about when COVID came out. It was a germ that nobody had seen before, and it took a little bit of scrambling for us to figure out how to deal with it. It's the same way on First Earth. They're just grasping at straws and reaching for any help at all to try and deal with her, but she still somehow manages to slip away from them every time. So she's terrifying and brilliant and super smart and sneaky and just almost almost undefeatable. But of course, she does get defeated in the end.
Okay, it's interesting you made your necromancer a woman. Um, eh, any particular reason, or did it just work out that way?
So on my planet, every wizard that is born has a talent that is most akin to their personalities and their strengths and their strong points. So on my planet, necromancers, they can bring the dead back to life, they can summon souls, they can control corpses, just like your regular necromancer. They've got a very strong connection between the living and the dead. And so that's what this person's talent was. She just had that strong connection. And why did I pick a necromancer? Mostly because necromancers are scary and spooky. There is a twist at the end that I think my readers will really appreciate when it comes to necromancers. But yeah, probably because I played Skyrim and I hated the necromancers in Skyrim. They were creepy.
Okay, so you write fantasy, of course, specifically YA fantasy, but are there any other genres that you want to write in future?
I think I'm pretty satisfied where I am right now. I am a huge mystery lover. Someday I might go into a mystery. But as it is, you've probably already heard I put a lot of mystery into my fantasy novels. I don't think a book is a really good book if there's not a puzzle or two, a twist that you didn't see until it comes and then you realize it was there the whole time. It's one of my favorite parts about putting together fantasy books is adding that element.
Yeah, well, fantasy mystery is very popular these days. Just say.
Ah, yeah, it is. It's true. Paranormal mystery.
Anyway, so okay, what's up next for you then?
So, next, since I am on my last book and very excited about it, I have a series called The Lure. It's about a supernatural forest that lures in its prey with false emotions. So,
Ooh, that sounds fun.
it's going to be fun. Mhm.
Okay, so I think we'll wrap it up here, and I'll let you tell everyone where they can find you and your books.
Okay, just Google Cami Murdock Jensen. I have a website. I'm on Amazon, Facebook, Instagram. You can find me anywhere. Snapchat. My husband is even trying to get me on TikTok. We'll see if that one works out or not. But you can buy my books on Amazon. Yeah, that's the best place to order them. It's Amazon.
Okay, great. And I have a link in the description for her book, as well as her website is linked as well. So be sure to check her out. And that's it for this interview. And Between the Pages book chat will be off for the next 2 weeks due to the holiday and my birthday. And so, but we will be back the following week after that with another guest. So join us then. So bye for now.
Thank you.